Start of the third quarter at Falcons Stadium. The Irish lead the Falcons 24-10, and the Falcon trying to fire up the Cadets. As we get set to start the second half, back with Aaron Taylor, I'm Andrew Catalon. You heard Brian Kelly say, we're going to keep throwing the football. Why not? The Irish had 224 yards passing in that first half. At one point, Tommy Rees had 8 straight completions and 3 touchdowns off some big plays, Aaron.
Yeah, there's no question. Air Force is going to have to be able to make some adjustments on their back end. And we heard right before halftime, Coach Kelly talking about running the football well enough to set up play action here. It's Air Force's safety that's cheating. Looking at Cam McDaniel, the running back, and it allows William Fuller to be able to slip past him down the seam and catch a 46-yard touchdown. I think Air Force is going to have to be able to make some adjustments and maybe run some more zone back there. But this thing has been lopsided for Notre Dame. As we look at the 5-hour energy first half stats, through the air, Notre Dame has been effective. Those turnovers, Air Force has to find a way to be able to get the football back, because, Andrew, that turnover they had in the red zone was very, very costly.
No doubt about it. Air Force will get the ball to start the second half. This season, when Notre Dame is leading at the half, they're 4-0. And under Brian Kelly, when the Irish have the lead at the half, they're 27-3. Irish trying to improve to 6-2. Air Force looking to stop a 6-game losing streak. Brinza will kick it away for the Irish. Half the stadium still in the sun, but shadows across the entire field. As Brinza's kick will be down for a touchback.
Down in the end zone by Anthony.
Andrew, at the top of the show, we talked about the importance of Notre Dame attacking the edges in the safety play and secondary level supporters being able to attack the football and tackle well on the perimeter. What Air Force did an effective job is nullifying that, getting the ball out to the perimeter and average 5 yards per carry. Notre Dame's going to have to be able to make some adjustments and I think be a little bit more aggressive with their safeties.
Romine will start the second half under center for the Falcons. Still no Carson Roberts. As they pitch this one to John Lee, and he gets across the 30, knocked out by Farley. No Elijah Shoemate in that first half for the Irish. The sophomore has been suffering from an injured hamstring. Did not play against USC. Practiced some this week, but we haven't seen him out there today.
No, we haven't, and he's certainly a player that could help this Irish defense, but Air Force doing an excellent job, even on that first play of the game, of getting Irish defenders down on the ground. It's so hard as a defensive player to play off those blocks, but you have to be able to find a way to stay on your feet.
Romine pitches to Garrett Brown, and snuffing that one out is Russell.
Kavari Russell has had a tremendous game so far, playing aggressive. We talked about Notre Dame needing to be more aggressive. Here he is. He's peeking in at the ball. He's the force support from that outside edge. And when he sees the ball, here he comes, playing there, setting the edge, and just coming up and being physical. Air Force that time was trying to get John Lee out there to block him and was a little bit late.
John Lee was caught watching, and now it's 3rd down and 5. Air Force today 3 out of 7 on 3rd downs. Romine steps up, gets away from one, and Romine picks up the first down with his legs. Carlo Calabrese brought him down after a 9-yard gain.
Bob Diaco dialing up pressure, this time bringing Bennett Jackson off the left side of the screen, and that's where Romine can hurt you as well with his legs. Great pickup.
He is 62 yards rushing today. Here's Lacoste. He gets across the 45 and stumbles his way up to midfield. Austin Collinsworth on the stop for the Irish, but 10 more yards on the ground. As we look at the first half numbers, Tommy Rees 14 out of 19. DJ Jones had 5 catches in that first half.
What's really impressive is how well Tommy Rees has been able to throw the football, but Nate Romine starting the game, I think, was a surprise to a lot of people, but he's really come in and played well.
Romine throws here, his 4th completion of the day.
Romine completes
that one goes
to Colton Huntsman.
To Huntsman.
He's brought down by Russell.
And he'll bring up 2nd down.
And that time, Notre Dame was ready for that. They had their safeties. They didn't bring them up. They dropped out. They were expecting pass, but that's a nice switch up and change up for the Falcons to pick up 7 on first down.
Short run that time. If you're Air Force, do you make an adjustment here in the second half offensively? Do you throw the football more? Do you keep it on the ground?
I think you keep it on the ground. You keep doing what you're doing. You look at what they did in the first half. I mean, they had over 200 yards. That's what you want to be able to do. They've got to be able to protect the football, though, and that's something that unfortunately cost them down in the red zone late in the second.
3rd down and 1 for the Falcons. They're right at the Irish 40-yard line.
They're fine offensively, Andrew. It's their defense that needs to come up and make some plays.
Hart stuffed, gets away from one, and may have fallen forward for first. Great job by Broham Hart on the second effort to get an Air Force first down.
Broham Hart, 6 foot, 220 pounds, and runs behind his pads. Great penetration that time by the front of Notre Dame. Kona Schwenke in particular, playing behind the line of scrimmage. Also, Carlo Calabrese up in there. But 32 dropped his pads and got the first.
Romine pitches it. Gagliano upended. Low Wood flipped Gagliano over.
If you want to stop the triple option, you have to play aggressive out on the edge. Your corners have to be able to be willing to tackle. This time the senior out of Apopka, Florida, comes up and applies a pop for the loss. That felt good to him. See that smile?
That's a Cam McDaniel smile.
Should he blow that dude up?
2nd down and 11. Romine steps up, loses the football. Ball is out. The Irish have it. Jalen Smith. And now they say that the ball was down. They blew the whistle. Smith keeps on running. That was a very late whistle.
I didn't think he was down. I mean, that ball certainly came out and was fumbled. But you see all the Air Force players stop after the ball's picked up by Jalen Smith. Maybe it was a little quick by these officials on the whistle.
That's what I think, too. Referee Greg Burks huddling up with the officials. Clearly a fumble.
Watch when Jalen Smith picks this football up.
Ruling on the field is incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Whoa.
Previous play is under further review.
Yeah, they're going to want to take another look at that because that was no pass.
Setting up to pass, but it's Ben Council off that backside. Clearly, to me, strips that football. Jalen Smith picks this ball up here, but take a look at the Air Force players. They stop as if they've heard a whistle blown. You have to wonder if the officials prematurely blew the whistle, thinking the ball was down.
Well, clearly Romine was going to run the football there. There was no act of passing. Council knocked it loose, and Jalen Smith's knee never touched the ground.
So the ruling on the field's an incomplete pass, and to me that's compelling evidence enough to overturn that. But you see the Air Force lineman there, nobody running after him, and if that is a fumble, it would be a touchdown unless the whistle was blown.
Let's listen for the whistle. You did hear the whistle before Smith scooped it up.
Because if it were an incomplete pass, then they would have blown the whistle, and that was the original call on the field. And that may undo the touchdown, but it won't undo the turnover. Great effort and hustle by Ben Council, and a heads-up play by the super stud freshman, number 9, Jalen Smith.
Greg Burke set to make a call.
After further review, the ball was fumbled, not passed, immediately recovered by Notre Dame. It'll be first down Notre Dame on the 38.
Well, that's the right call. Another turnover, the second of the day for Air Force. You just said Air Force has to hold on to the football. They can. For more on that, let's go down to Lauren Gardner.
Well, Andrew, this is exactly what Troy Calhoun told me at the half that they did not want to do offensively. He told me they needed to get off to a quick start and ideally put some points on the board within the first two possessions. And on the other side of the ball, I asked him if they're going to continue to play man coverage after giving up over 220 yards in the air. And he said they're going to mix up their looks a little bit, especially in the secondary.
All right, thank you very much, Lauren. Second turnover in Notre Dame territory for the Falcons. So the Irish get the ball first and 10 at the 38. Reese pitches to McDaniel, and he gets to the 40. And Nickel makes the tackle for Air Force.
I mean, just what a costly turnover for a 1-6 Air Force team that has Notre Dame's on the ropes at times in that first half. And here they're driving the football at will. Great way, just the way you want to start. But they turn it over again. It's a strip on a fumble on a pass, something that Romine can do. But turnovers, when Troy Calhoun has had his team firing all cylinders, that's a category that they've dominated, and that just hasn't been the case this year and certainly hadn't been the case today.
McDaniel on 2nd and 8 finds a seam up the middle into Falcons territory and a Notre Dame first down.
And once again, after a sudden change, you see the wind get taken out of the sails of this Air Force team. They've been flying around and hustling. And Notre Dame's offensive line just literally reset the line of scrimmage by 5 yards there. These cadets have to be able to shake it off, play to play, and get this football back to their offense.
First time today, Notre Dame has had a run of more than 10 yards. The 11-yard rush from McDaniel is the long, and McDaniel gets it again up close to the 40-yard line before Spears brought him down. 8 yards for McDaniel on that carry.
And this is just lead football, and now Notre Dame starting to use that size advantage it has on the offensive line and reset the chains. They are being physical up front, and now I would expect Notre Dame to start to get that ground game going. But at some point, you got to watch the safeties, and if they're hearing word from up top, here they are in man coverage again, that they're cheating, take a shot over the top and make them pay.
McDaniel, another Notre Dame first down. 9-yard gain for McDaniel. And don't forget, Golden Corral is a proud supporter of Armed Forces football. Well, this is a theme, Aaron, that unfortunately happens a lot for Air Force. They wear down in the second half. They're so overmatched in terms of size. They don't have a lot of depth. Their last 3 games, they've had second half leads, and they've lost all 3 games.
Yeah, but it hasn't been fatigue or lack of depth that caused those turnovers, and those are the 2 biggest plays that they've had. You're absolutely right, but they're a little sluggish right now. They have to shake this off and get this ball back.
Freshman Folston to the 30-yard line. Joey Nickel tripped him up.
I wonder when we were going to see Tarian Folston out of Florida, a true freshman that coaches think have a lot of potential. But the one thing you have to be concerned about with true freshmen is pass protection and protecting the football. And I think with Notre Dame switching its play calling up significantly here, going to the ground, they certainly don't want to get Air Force back in this game by giving it back over, throwing an interception.
Reese will throw on second down. Pump fakes, looking deep, end zone for Jones, caught. Touchdown, Notre Dame. What a catch by T.J. Jones, the 4th touchdown of the day for Tommy Reese.
Double moves versus man coverage are very hard to be able to deal with. T.J. Jones sells it perfectly. Tommy Reese looks off the safety, pump fakes, does a good job of holding that safety, and there's nobody there to help him over the top. T.J. Jones catches the ball for a 2nd touchdown of the day.
Beautiful time to bring out the pass. They had gone run with McDaniel and Folston. Reese pump fakes. T.J. Jones has now caught a touchdown in 5 consecutive games, and Tommy Reese is now 3rd alone all time in Notre Dame career touchdown passes, passing Ron Paulus. Brinza's extra point is good, and Notre Dame capitalizes off the Air Force turnover. Tommy Rees had 4 touchdown passes 2 years ago against Air Force. He's got 4 touchdowns again today against the Falcons, and the Irish up 31-10.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Icy Hot, America's #1 topical pain reliever. By Allegra Allergy Relief, fast, non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief that starts working in 1 hour. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union.
Well, Air Force in trouble after the latest Rees touchdown pass to T.J. Jones. 8:24 to go, third quarter, and Notre Dame up 31-10 on Air Force with Aaron Taylor and Lauren Gardner. I'm Andrew Catalan. Thank you for joining us on CBS Sports Network. Brinza will kick it away. And now Air Force in desperate need of some points. They got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the limitations of maybe a 2-minute scenario, and Air Force was quite effective moving the football down the field. But when you have to score points and score quickly, this isn't the type of offense to try and make up for a 3-touchdown lead.
We'll see if the Falcons can come up with an answer when we come back.
And welcome back to Colorado Springs, where Notre Dame has a 3-touchdown lead over Air Force. The last touchdown by T.J. Jones, he's just going to run a stutter and go in a double move. But watch what quarterback Tommy Rees does. For the naysayers that are hating on him, look how his head keeps the safety off. He looks the safety off so that he's not going to be able to get over there to be able to help. Then he pumps fake and perfectly timed with the double move by T.J. Jones. Then his acceleration and a perfectly located deep ball by Tommy Rees puts Notre Dame up by 3 touchdowns here in the third.
6-play drive for the Irish. Rees has tied a career high with 4 touchdown passes. You go back to last week against USC, underrated part of that game at halftime. It was Tommy Rees who delivered an emotional halftime speech in the locker room, trying to encourage his guys to go back out there against the Trojans and finish the game. T.J. Jones, who just caught that touchdown, said it was so out of character for Rees that it almost brought tears to the eyes of some of the guys in the locker room. So Rees doing it with his arm, but also with his leadership last week and picking up where he left off before going out with that injury.
Yeah, no question. And Tommy Rees is the unquestioned leader of this team. I mean, he has the ear not only of the coaching staff, but just the way he shows up and prepares. And there's no question that he has some physical limitations. But I really feel like he's turned the corner at the right time because the defense has done the same. I think Notre Dame at this midpoint in the year is positioned to possibly have a chance to be able to go undefeated down the stretch and be favored in all their games, maybe save Stanford, and possibly be a dark horse for a BCS game.
Bennett Jackson crunches Nate Romine, and that'll bring up third down for Air Force. This place has been deflated, even though there's a lot of Notre Dame fans in the stands. All the cadets are quiet as Air Force is looking at a 3rd down and 1. 5 out of 9 today on 3rd downs. They swing it to Huntsman, trying to get to the outside. Jalen Smith. That is why they think so highly of the freshman. What a stop for Smith.
Jalen Smith plays that dog position, and what he does well is he plays off the cut block by Anthony Lacoste and stays on his feet. That's exactly what it is you have to do right there. Play off the blocker, get downhill, and make the tackle. That is a true freshman, ladies and gentlemen, and he's having a heck of a season and going to be a heck of a player before he leaves South Bend.
Bob Diaco told us this week that Jalen Smith will be one of the best players in the country. Still makes some freshman mistakes, but his potential is out of sight as T.J. Jones calls for a fair catch at the 36-yard line. Jalen Smith, play of the game on D for the Irish. 6:43 to go in the third quarter, and what a play by Jalen Smith, Aaron.
Yeah, he did a tremendous job of being able to play off the lead block by Anthony Lacoste. Here he is right here in that dog position. And notice, Notre Dame is in a 4-down front, a 43 front, and then they walk Smith up And right there, he plays off the cut block. And as a defender, when you can stay on your feet, you're going to be able to stretch those plays out for the second 3 and out for the Irish of the day.
And an underrated part of Smith's development is the work that Danny Spond has done with him. Spond is the only player from Colorado on the Notre Dame roster. He was forced to retire before the season because of severe migraines as Reese throws complete to Jones on first down. But Spond has not missed a practice. He's traveled to every single game, and he works so closely with Jalen Smith, teaching him the plays, a calming force for a freshman on the sideline. Danny Spond's work with Jalen Smith has been a huge part of Smith's freshman campaign.
And when you have somebody that is experienced, there's nothing that can replace experience, because coaches can only deal with so many things. They have to talk to all the players on the defense. When you've got a senior veteran player that can help you and tell you the nuances of the position, it's a tremendous help, and another reason why number 9's having a heck of a year.
Another freshman, Folston, on first down. He picks up 7 on the play. And after that ball came loose, it's still Notre Dame football. Let's go back to New York and update with Adam Zucker.
All right, Andrew, thanks. They're going back and forth in Norman after falling behind to number 10 Texas Tech. Oklahoma on the reverse to LaColton Bester, and he wants to do another reverse. So he goes back this way. 35 yards, totaling about 70 yards, and the Sooners have a 28-24 lead on the undefeated Red Raiders. Back to you.
Good game. Thank you very much, Adam. It's second down here for the Irish at the Air Force 42-yard line, and Tommy Reese trying to beat the play clock with a timeout. Did they get it in? Refs are discussing whether or not they're going to grant Notre Dame that timeout.
Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
Not a timeout. They're just resetting the play clock. So 5:33 to go. Irish again with a second down and 3.
Pistol formation, 12 personnel, 1 tailback, 2 tight ends. Notre Dame loves to run out of this.
Brown, the motion man for the Irish. They give it to Folston. Nice moves, a spin, and Folston with a Notre Dame first down. That's why they're so high on the freshman Tarian Folston out of Cocoa, Florida.
Very good blocking backside and great vision on this inside zone. Great cut right there to be able to get those extra yards. Very good open field runner, and you see it's plays like that that have coaches very excited about this young man's potential.
Video game moves right there. Very impressive stuff.
Reminds me when I was playing flag football, you know what I'm saying?
I find that hard to believe that you were that nimble. Folston again putting on the moves and still on his feet across the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. A 16-yard gain for Folston before Spears finally caught up to him.
One of the things that these coaches have been frustrated about is their athletic backs not getting north and south and dancing around too much. But here you have Tarian Folston not only running north and south, but also showing an ability to make people miss in space. And that's the perfect combination for Brian Kelly's offense moving forward.
Knocking on the door again, back in the red zone. Notre Dame's season high in points this year is 37 in the win over Arizona State. Folston could not get around the corner that time. Pushed out by Nickel and Jared Jones.
Good penetration that time.
Today's Red Zone is being brought to you by Verizon.
We saw Tommy Reese right before that play was snapped. They liked the leverage that they had on the outside heading into that boundary. So they tried to run an outside zone, but good penetration and push that time by the defensive front on that side by the Falcons.
Notre Dame 93rd in the country in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That's certainly an area they're looking to improve upon as McDaniel is back in the game. Well, Brian Kelly told Lauren Gardner at the half, well, why should we run? We'll just keep throwing the ball. Well, they did throw the ball in that touchdown, but this drive has seen a lot of running between Folston and McDaniel.
No question, and you have to be able to get some confidence. If you're Notre Dame up front, they've been struggling running the football, only 2.6 yards per carry in that first half. And the reason why is because Air Force was loading the box, and that's really been the game plan for a lot of teams trying to take away the run. But Tommy Rees is very quickly showing you will get burned if you do that.
3rd down and 8, empty backfield. Reese looking end zone again, behind the back to Brown. Touchdown. Back shoulder toss. Reese to Chris Brown. 5th of the day for Reese. That's a new career high. And once again, Stephon Batts got beat on defense.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of number 23, the senior out of Columbia, South Carolina, and he's really been one of their most dependable players. But that just shows you the athleticism and the advantage that Notre Dame has outside on the perimeter. But as I've said, Andrew, there is no defense for a perfectly thrown ball, and you got to give number 11 credit for Notre Dame because Reese put that thing on the money.
Reese's 5 touchdowns have gone to 5 different receivers. The 38 points are now a new season high for the Irish. It is all smiles on the Notre Dame sideline as Chris Brown has his first touchdown of the season. Notre Dame all over Air Force in the second half. It's 38-10. Tommy Rees, 17 out of 22 for 284 yards and 5 touchdowns. Those 5 TDs, a new career high. The record for Notre Dame quarterbacks for most touchdown passes in a game, Brady Quinn threw 6 against BYU back in 2005. What a day for Tommy Rees, who earlier this week, we didn't even know if he was going to play after he had the strained neck against USC. Well, Rees has played, and we haven't seen Andrew Hendricks at all for the Irish, who have jumped out to a 38-10 lead.
Yeah, right there we're looking at Stephon Batts, number 23, giving up 3 touchdowns so far today. And that time you can't blame man coverage. They were in cover 2, but they just found another way to get the football to their playmakers out on the edge.
Well, Lauren Gardner is somewhere in the stands at Falcon Stadium. Lauren?
Well, Andrew, it's time for today's spot, and in this spot in 2002, in front of a record-setting crowd of 56,409, number 7 ranked Notre Dame defeated number 18 ranked Air Force 21-14, and that victory marked Notre Dame's 7th consecutive win on the season that became known as a return to victory for the Irish. Now, we want to hear from you at home. Tweet some of your favorite memories from that 0-2 game to hashtag the spot, and we might air them later on in tonight's game. Now, let's see here, and I was in high school for that game. How old are you again?
Why are you trying to loud talk me, Lauren?
Little known fact about Lauren, she has her pilot's license.
Yeah. Bright cookie, that one.
She could fit right in.
Does make you feel kind of old, though, but great job by Bennett Jackson that time. Fight through the defender, and there's unfortunately a downed Falcon on the near side of the field.
That's Sam Gagliano, the junior out of Texas. Caught a 71-yard touchdown pass in Air Force's last game against San Diego State. That was the longest Air Force touchdown pass in 4 years. See him on the right.
He was trying to cut block Bennett Jackson, who did a good job of staying on his feet. You have to wonder if he didn't hit his head on his knee. We saw a lot of those injuries so far this season, including last night.
Romine steps up, and Romine goes down. Caught from behind by Prince Shembo.
Prince Shembo's an extremely athletic football player with a great motor. They brought Carlo Calabrese on the blitz as well. Knowing that Air Force is in a position where they have to run, this really plays to the strength of that Notre Dame front 7, which is getting after the quarterback, particularly with the Irish being in a 4-down look with a lot of athleticism on the field.
3rd down and 8 for the Falcons. Romine's in the shotgun. Looks left, throws left too high. Was gunning for Garrett Brown, but he overthrew his intended target. And that's the second straight 3 and out for Air Force, their 3rd overall.
Yeah, this Notre Dame defense is really stiffened up, and the Irish are dictating what it is that Air Force can do. Now, Troy Calhoun knows he's got to be able to come up with some magic to maybe get back in this ball game. This isn't the ideal position for it, but at some point, does Air Force try and run a trick play to get the first down?
It's Amir Carlisle back deep for the Irish, and he lost the football. Carlisle recovered. It's usually TJ Jones back there. Carlisle was getting a chance and nearly coughed it up.
Ball security in any situation is of utmost importance, but you have to be able to do it when you're on the road. And that ball just goes right through his hand, and there was some flyers for Air Force coming down on him. You have to wonder if that spooked him.
Here's a look at today's Phillips 66 Mountain West Athletes of the Week. We go to Fresno State for Derek Carr and Devontae Adams having incredible seasons. Big game for the Bulldogs tonight at San Diego State. A big game in the Mountain West as Fresno State remains undefeated. And now Andrew Hendricks has checked into the game for the Irish. Pitches it to Folston, and Walker not fooled. As we go back to New York, Adam Zucker with another update in our studio.
All right, Andrew, Oregon fell behind 7-0 to UCLA. This made Mark Helfrich very impatient. So on 4th and 14 from their own 26, they fake it. Rodney Hardrick goes 67 yards. It would lead to a DeAnthony Thomas touchdown. They are tied at 7 now in Eugene. Back to you.
Oh, those Ducks. Thank you very much, Adam. You're looking at Andrew Hendricks, who's now come into the game. He had to play last week against USC when Tommy Rees went down with the neck injury. He struggled to move the ball for the Irish offensively as they go back to Folston on the ground here. Hendricks was 0 for 4 last week and only picked up 5 yards rushing against the Trojans. And after the game, Brian Kelly was very critical of his backup quarterback. He said, we expect more of him. He has to play better, and Hendricks will get an opportunity here in the second half against the Falcons.
Yeah, and you have to imagine with the type of practice player that he was, he just maybe got nervous on that big stage. I mean, they had 23 net yards and 23 plays in that second half. This would be a great confidence booster for him to take this football down the field and get a touchdown, but it's not going to be easy with a big 3rd down here.
Play clock is at 0.
Timeout. Notre Dame, they're first of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Notre Dame got the timeout before the play clock expired. That's their first timeout of the second half.
See Coach Kelly not happy there, but somebody's got to be happy with is the play of Tommy Rees. Just the location of the football and his command of this offense, his decision making, his accuracy when he's inside the pocket. He threw a couple bad balls when he was outside of it, but for the most part, he's done an amazing job of stretching the field vertically with touchdowns and throws that averaged over 30 yards. I mean, he's thrown deep ball after deep ball after deep ball right on the money all day long, doing what a good quarterback's supposed to do, which is taking what the defense gives you.
Assuming Notre Dame goes on to win this game, Rees will improve to 20-6 in games that he has started. The 20 wins would tie Joe Theismann and John Lujack, tied for 9th. Steve Berline next in line with 21. Remember, you can tweet to Mr. Berline, hashtag AskSteveB. Hendricks throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Amir Carlisle. Hendricks is now 1 for 11 throwing on the season. First 3 and out for the Irish. And here is Steve Berline. I like Tommy Rees. He is not Everett Golson and should not try to be. If he protects the ball, he should be fine. The hashtag is AskSteveB. You agree with that tweet, Aaron?
Yeah, no question. I'm a fan of Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees is the type of player that I would love to have played for. Yes, he is limited to a certain extent physically, but the dude cares. He plays hard. He does the absolute best with what it is he has, and I really think we're starting to watch him mature as a passer in this second half of the year.
Garrett Brown gets it back to the 42-yard line. That's where Air Force will take over 1st and 10 with 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Nate Romine and the Falcons offense back on the field. Today's first down line is being brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union.
See, making some adjustments here at the line of scrimmage. Air Force, in a situation where they're down by 28 points, has slowed this offense down. They've got to be able to keep it mixed up, but their bread and butter is attacking the perimeter.
And he didn't get the playoff.
Timeout. Timeout, Air Force.
They're going to give
their first of the half, 30 seconds in length.
The Falcons the timeout.
Troy Calhoun, I mean, he's earning his money now. I think a lot of people have taken maybe some shots at him. It's going to be the first year that maybe they don't make a bowl game, assuming that they lose today. But I got to tell you, he does one of the best jobs in the country of coaching these cadets who really look at football as an escape from their normal everyday lives. His job's not easy. These guys are taking 19 credit hours, and I'm certainly not making any excuses for this team, and he wouldn't want me to be able to do that. But cadets here at Air Force are forced and required to do things that everyday college football players aren't able to do. And the reason why the injuries are such a big factor is because they simply don't have the depth. So when you're on your fourth quarterback, it can create a lot of problems. And he's trying to do the best job he can with what he's got to work with.
And we were in his office yesterday, and his quote explains everything. Our job is to produce officers, not football players. Romine keeps it himself, and Jalen Smith and Shembo right there for the Irish. Well, today's great action cam shots are brought to you by Enterprise. Great look from above Falcon Stadium. Final play of the third quarter, if they get it off. They don't. That is the end of the third quarter from Colorado Springs. Notre Dame's lead is 38-10. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.